Welcome everyone. 5:30 p.m. and the declaration voting of tonight's ordinary council meeting is made at 5:30. Just for anyone watching online or looking at the recording, this is a decision-making night, so councillors had the opportunity to ask questions last Wednesday, and tonight we make decisions on every item that's presented. So we're on page 6 of our agenda. The item 2 is opening procedures. So item 2.1 is acknowledgement of country. So I'd like to invite Councillor Williams to present the acknowledgements of country.
The Shire of Northern would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet, the Balladong and Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation, and pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging.
Thank you, Councillor Williams. So item 2.2 is recording of council meetings. Members of council are well aware, and members of the gallery are advised this meeting is being live streamed and audio recorded, and it's made available on the Shire of Northern's YouTube channel. If members of the public would like to have access to the recording of this meeting, they can do so via the Shire of Northern website. Item 3, still on page 6, is attendance. The attendees, all councillors as listed are in attendance. So I'll start from left to right as per normal. So I welcome Councillor Biglan, Councillor Ryan, Councillor Williams, Councillor Mencheli, President Antonio, Councillor Atherton, Councillor Polton and Councillor Hughes. Item 3.2 is staff. Got the staff. So I've just got to welcome the staff. We've got the Chief Executive Officer, Ms Terling, Executive Manager Engineering Services, Mr Devsich, Executive Manager Development and Community Services, Mr Hunt, Executive Manager Corporate Services, Mr Young, Manager Governance and Risk, Ms McCall, and Governance and Risk Officer, Ms Van Beek. So item 3.2 is apologies, that is nil. Item 3.3 on page 7 is approved leaves of absence. Councillor Gierak has been granted leave of absence from the 7th of July 2025 to the 8th of August 2025 inclusive. Item 3.4 absent, that is nil. So we go to page 8 and this is item number 4, which is disclosure of interest. So I have a few, and what I'll do is I'll read them out before the item comes up. So we have the first one is CP.50 trading on thoroughfares and public places policy trial review. We have a declaration of impartiality from Councillor Atherton. Vendors, this policy effects are known to Councillor Atherton, and we have a declaration of impartiality from Councillor Ryan. A fellow councillor has a financial interest in a business that will be affected by this item. President Antonio, that's myself, has declared impartiality. Owners of the applicants related to this item are known to President Antonio. Councillor Biglan has declared impartiality. One of the current street traders is known to Councillor Biglan. Councillor Hughes has declared direct financial interest. Councillor Hughes' daughter owns and operates a coffee trailer which is covered by this policy. So Councillor Hughes did not partake in any of the question and answers last week and will not be taking any part of the decision making or discussions tonight. Councillor Mencheli also declared impartiality. While silent on the traders involved who are known to Councillor Mencheli, Councillor Mencheli declares impartiality. Councillor Williams has declared impartiality. A fellow councillor has a financial interest in a business that will be affected by this item. Behind closed doors, we'll deal with that. Ms Terling, the CEO, has declared a direct financial interest. We'll deal with that as the item comes up. So then we go to page 10, which is item number 5, which is announcements by the presiding member without discussion. So that's taken as read. So then we go to page 12, which is item number 6, which is public questions. And I don't think there's any public questions, but I'll still question any public questions. So there's none. So we go to item number 7, response to previous public questions taken on notice. That is nil. And then item number 8 is receiving of petitions, presentations and deputations. 8.1 petitions is nil. 8.2 presentations is nil. Then on page 13, 8.3 deputations. The members of the gallery have not applied, but I just want to check there's no public statements, deputations. No, there's not. So then we move on to item number 9, still on page 13. Applications for leave of absence, that is nil. Item number 10 is confirmation of minutes. 10.1 is confirmation of minutes from the ordinary council meeting held 18th June 2025. No questions on this last week. Councillor Ryan is moving. Councillor Hughes seconded. I saw that. Is there anyone likely to speak against this? So all those in favour by a show of hands. That's 8-0, that's carried. Then item 10.2, confirmation of minutes from the special council meeting held on the 9th of July 2025. Recommendation as written there. Councillor Ryan moved, Councillor Mencheli seconded. That's how I saw it. Anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands. That's 8-0, that's carried. Then item 10.3 is notes from the council forum meeting held 16th of July 2025. As this is a new item, I just wanted to check if there's any questions or clarifications before we move to the recommendation. So otherwise we've got the recommendation as written there on page 13. Councillor Hughes is moving. Councillor Mencheli is seconding. Anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands. That's 8-0, that's carried. We now go to page 31, which is item number 11, items brought forward for the convenience of those in the public gallery. There's no items, so we'll continue on the agenda as per normal. So then we're on item number 12, which is reports of committee meetings. That is nil. Then we go to item 13, which is officer reports. 13.1 is the CEO's office. 13.1.1 is the council plan, corporate business plan component, review and workforce strategy. We did have question and answers on this last week, and then we have 2 recommendations on page 35. The CEO is just going to explain this amendment.
Yes, we've just discovered that in relation to the item that's in the revised council plan for the agricultural pavilion, the circle should actually be followed to indicate that it requires external funding. So we just need to make that correction to the item in the council plan, and that's in line with how it's been through all of our council plans previously, and also how it's denoted in the long-term financial plan as well.
The councils, or you have queries on that? No? So then we've got the recommendation that's written on the board. Saw Councillor Ryan first, Councillor Mencheli second. That's a mover and a seconder. Anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands. That's 8-0, that's carried. And then we have recommendation 2, which is council adopts the Shire of Norman's workforce strategy. Councillor Ryan is moving. Councillor Hughes is seconding. Anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands. That's 8-0, that's carried. So then we go to page 121, which is 13.1.2. Western Australian Local Government Association, WOLGA, Annual General Meeting. The recommendation is on page 1, 2, 3. There's no questions on this last week. Councillor Appleton is moving. Councillor Mencheli is seconding. Anyone likely to speak against this? So all those in favour by a show of hands. That's 8-0, that's carried. We go to page 124. This is 13.1.3, change of council meeting date, September and October 2025. There's a recommendation on page 127, and you'll note that the October ones were clarified in here and in the recommendation about change of dates. Councillor Williams is moving. Councillor Polton is seconding. Anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands? That's 8-0, that's carried. We go to page 128, which is 13.1.4. Delegated Authority Register 2025-26 amendment, and there's a recommendation on page 131. Councillor Appleton is moving, Councillor Williams is seconding. Anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands? That's 8-0, that's carried. We now go to page 336. Which is 13.2 engineering services, which is nil. So then we go to 13.3 development and community services. And then we go to 13.3.1 CP.50 training on thoroughfares and public places policy trial review. Just a reminder that councillors Ryan, Appleton, Bigland, Mencheli and Williams and President Antonio declared impartiality. Councillor Hughes has declared direct financial interest, so we'll be leaving the room for the discussion and decision on this item. And there's a recommendation on page 339, which Councillor Mencheli is moving, Councillor Polton is seconding. Is there anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands? That's 7-0, that's carried. Jeffrey, thank you, Jeffrey. We're just going to invite Councillor Hughes back in.
Back in.
We've got members of the public helping us out. And Councillor Hughes, just for your recommendation, that was carried as recommended. So then we go to page 347. So 13.4 is corporate services. 13.4.1 is rates exemption application 260 Fitzgerald Street, 53 and 55 Wellington Street, 49 Old York Road Northern, and there's a recommendation on page 352.
With the recommendation.
Councillor Mencheli is moving, Councillor Appleton is seconding. Anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands? That's 8-0, that's carried. Then we go to page 432, which is item 13.4.2, Budget Amendment 2024-25, and there's a recommendation on page 434. Councillor Appleton is moving, Councillor Hughes is seconding. Anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands? That's 8-0, that's carried. Then we go to page 435, which is 13.4.3, Budget Adoption 2025-26. Now this is a new item, Council, so I'll see if there's any queries or clarifications on this. Before I go, we've got 6 recommendations. You'll note from today the 6 recommendations. So is there any queries on this item? No. So then we go to page 443. So we have recommendation 1. This is the annual fees for council and members. Councillor Mencheli is moving it, Councillor Hughes is seconding. So anyone likely to speak against recommendation 1? So all those in favour by a show of hands? That's 8-0, that's carried. Then we've got recommendation 2. This is rubbish and recycling fees on page 443. Councillor Appleton is moving. Councillor Williams is seconding. Anyone likely to speak against this one? So all those in favour by a show of hands? That's 8-0, that's carried. We go to page 444/445 for recommendation 3, which is differential general rates and minimum rates and associated. Councillor Ryan is moving. Councillor Hughes is seconding. Anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands? That's 8-0, that's carried. Then we go to page 445, which is recommendation 4, which is the use in statement AASB 1031 and approves to be used in statements of financial activity.
Move that.
Sorry.
Sorry, which is
Point of
question.
order, Mr. President, recommendation fours the
Oh,
fees and charges amendment.
Yeah.
oh, sorry, I'm looking at the old one.
Yeah.
Oh, no, no.
No.
Thank you.
Recommendation 5 is the,
An absolute majority adopts the amended schedule of fees and charges. Julie's right.
Yeah, even I've downloaded a new one, so it must be, like the old one.
Yeah, through the chair, that it is, in fact, now it is recommendation number 4. We had recommendation number 4 is for the fees and charges. There was one error in the fees and charges spreadsheet that we adopted at the June ordinary council meeting. That was corrected, which is why we brought that in at a later date.
Yeah, so I apologise to anyone looking at councillors. I've downloaded the new item and it hasn't shown up. So Councillor Williams is quite right. It's about the fees and charges. So it'll be shown on screen, so everyone's well aware. So it's amended to schedule of fees and charges, and the Exec Manager Corporate Services just advised. So everyone can see that on screen.
I got it.
Yeah. So then would Councillor like to move? Councillor Mencelli moved, and I saw Councillor Appleton seconded. So thank you, Councillor Williams. So anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands? That's 8-0, that's carried. Then we've got recommendation 5, which is on page 445, and this is the AASB 1031. Got that correct?
Yep.
So that's a recommendation there. So Councillor Hughes is moving, Councillor Mencelli is seconding. So all those in favour by show of hands, assuming no one's speaking against, that's 8-0, that's carried. Then we've got recommendation 6, which is the municipal fund budget for 25-26. Councillor Appleton is moving, Councillor Polton is seconding. Anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands? That's 8-0, that's carried. So that's all the budget items. So page 445. So then we go to page 685. I'm just going to check. 685. We have 13.4.4, which is accounts and statements of accounts, June 2025. And the recommendation is on page 685. Councillor Williams is moving. Councillor Mencelli is seconding. So anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands? That's 8-0, that's carried. Then I think I've got the numbering right now. We go to page 740. So 13.4.5, financial statements for the period ending 30 June 2025, with a recommendation on page 743. Councillor Ryan is moving. Councillor Mencelli is seconding. Anyone likely to speak against? So all those in favour by a show of hands? That's 8-0, that's carried. We now go to page 764. So item number 14 is matters behind closed doors. Councillor Polton is moving, Councillor Ryan is seconding. It is procedural, so I'll put that straight to the vote. All those in favour by a show of hands? That's 8-0, that's carried.
It's all over the road. Yep. Big meeting.
So do we with the recording? So just, we had matters behind closed doors. So we had 14.1, which is application under CP.29 rates hardship. So there was a recommendation, which was approved, 8-0. The council, 1, approves the payment arrangement of $50 per fortnight for the current owner of A566 until 30 June 2026. And item 2 approves the payment arrangement of $50 per month for the current owner of A15804 until 30 June 2026. And then we had, she'll leave that for the next one. So item 14.2 is Chief Executive Officer Review and Selection Committee meeting held 1 July 2025. We had a receipt of minutes, a recommendation that we received the minutes, which was approved 8-0. Then we had adoption of recommendations. The recommendation is that Council 1 accepts the Chief Executive Officer Key Performance Indicator Progress Report from 22 March to 21 June 2025 as presented in attachment 6.1.1 of the committee minutes. And 2, adopts the Chief Executive Officer Key Performance Indicators as developed in conjunction with Hammond Woodhouse Advisory for the period 1 July 2025 to 30 June 2026, as outlined in attachment 6.2.1 of the committee minutes. That was carried 8-0 in case I didn't say it. And then the recommendation that Council, by absolute majority, endorses a review of the Chief Executive Officer's performance for 24-25 and notes that the Chief Executive Officer has achieved the key performance indicators, and that was carried 8-0. So then we have item 14.3, the Chief Executive Officer Review and Selection Committee meeting held 16 July 2025. And just a reminder, may not have said it, but this is for the recording. This item, the CEO, Ms. Terrelling, declared direct financial interest in this. The report considers total remuneration package for the CEO and the position the CEO holds. So the recording, and everyone is well aware for the recording that the CEO and all staff, bar a minute taker, did leave the room for this item. So the first one was receipt of minutes, which was carried 8-0. The council receives the minutes from the Chief Executive Officer Review and Selection Committee meeting held 16 July 2025. And adoption of recommendations that council approves an increase of the Chief Executive Officer's total remuneration package, TRP, of 3.5%, bringing the TRP for 25-26 to 328,519 per annum, effective from 1 July 2025. So we head back to page 764 of our main agenda. Just in case it was not on the recording, the council moved 8-0 to move out from behind closed doors. So then we have item number 15, motions of which previous notice has been given is nil. Item 16, urgent business approved by decision, that is nil. Item 17, declaration of closure is made at 5:57 p.m. I'd like to thank councillors. We did have a question and answer if anyone's looking to record, so we'll have a lot of question and answers for the professional questions and your decision making. Thank the officers for their professionalism and reports, and thank the members of the gallery for attending. So closure was made.